Thank you, Congressman. I would like to congratulate Congressman Oliver for this much-deserved recognition. Congressman Oliver has been a tireless advocate for his congressional district, and as a scientist has demonstrated an uncanny understanding and commitment to renewable energy and sustainability. This project clearly would not have happened without him. Thank you again. Congressman Oliver's recognition is obvious. I, on the other hand, do not feel that my work warrants such a wonderful honor. I was just doing my job, and I was fortunate enough to be doing it with hundreds of extremely talented and dedicated individuals, many of whom I've already introduced. So I will humbly accept this honor on behalf of all those people who worked tirelessly to make this happen. Thank you very much. As I was pondering my selection, I thought a lot about the project. Aside from the obvious reason to recognize Congressman Oliver, there's a certain symbolism in his recognition. As you can see, the turbines are quite majestic, tall, almost 400 feet when the blades are at top dead center, slim and impressive. When you look at Congressman Oliver, he too is tall, slim, and very impressive. I, on the other hand, do not fit any of these characteristics. But I did figure out why I was selected. The other impressive attribute of these turbines, aside from their height, is their weight. Their weight is almost 500,000 pounds, exclusive of the base, so I was clearly selected to represent mass. Today we are celebrating the erection of the turbines, but I want to remind you that this is one project that is representative of the overall commitment of this institution to use renewable energy and a reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. The development of renewable energy projects I've previously mentioned, coupled with the implementation of a variety of energy conservation measures and good demand-side management, has led to a reduction in the college's electrical usage from over 9 million kilowatt hours to just 5 million kilowatt hours during the past 10 years. This has been accomplished despite the addition of a new wing, a childcare center, a power plant, and the demand for additional usage dictated by new technology and an almost threefold increase in the number of computers on campus. I want to put this in perspective. Over the past 9 years, our biomass conversion has reduced CO2 emissions by 17,000 tons, nitrous oxide emissions by 28 tons, sulfur dioxide by 73 tons. These reductions would be equivalent to planting 4,626 acres of trees or removing 2,946, give or take one, cars from our roads. These figures do not indicate and include savings associated with our PV installation. Yes, these figures are impressive, but as a means of comparison, if we look at the average life expectancy of these turbines being 20 years, these two turbines will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions more than threefold, resulting in a 92% reduction in our carbon emissions. Yes, we are one of the few campuses in the country and perhaps in the world that is approaching zero net energy and zero net carbon, and that's without buying green energy from another source. Those numbers I've just used are conservative. We've based those figures based on 4,977,422 kilowatt hours of electricity. The rated capacity is somewhere closer to 6.2 million, but when we built our business plan, we wanted to use a conservative number. I'm going to predict right now, and I'll do it in front of the Secretary and the Commissioner and the Congressman, that we will be 100% energy efficient. We will produce all the power we need based on the preliminary status that we're getting from these turbines right now. As a matter of fact, we are so close. If everyone would turn around and inhale, we will hit it. The projects completed by Mount Wachusett Community College over the past decade have been good for our students, they've been good for our communities, good for the Commonwealth, and good for the country. And by implementing one of the first of its kind degree options in energy management, the college is ensuring that this work will continue through our graduates. I recently read a quote that says, "We can't direct the wind, we can only adjust the sails." As a result of our work, our academic programs, our students will know how to adjust the sails, and we will all be better for it. A project of this magnitude does not happen overnight and without the help of literally hundreds of individuals. Although I would like to personally recognize each and every one of those individuals, it would be beyond the time limitations of today's program. First, I'd like to recognize some key members of our feasibility study and NEPA team, representing the Hotwood Group, Fred Unger, from Jacobs Engineering, Tom Greer, and Mary Ellen Mager. These individuals provided invaluable services and guided a team of nationally recognized experts. The next group I would like to recognize represents federal, state, and local agencies that provided assistance. First, at the federal level, I would like to thank the U.S. Department of Energy and the staff at the Golden Field office. From Massachusetts, I would like to recognize the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, first under the leadership of Secretary Ian Bowles, and more recently under the current Secretary Richard K. Sullivan. Also representing that office, we have Assistant Secretary of Energy Steve Clark, Undersecretary of Energy Phil Giudice, Mark Sylvia, Commissioner to the Department of Energy Resources. Thank you, Mark. And Eric Friedman, who is not with us today, but he's the Director of Leading by Example, and he's been a tremendous asset over the many years that this project has been moving forward. I would also like to thank Secretary Jay Gonzalez from the Executive Office of Administration and Finance, the Division of Capital Asset Management, its former Commissioner David Perini, and the current Commissioner Carol Connellison, and finally Mayor Hawk and the various departments within the City of Gardner. Again, thank you to all the agencies for all of your tremendous help. There's another group of individuals who deserve some recognition, and that's the construction team. First, representing the general contractor, J.K. Scanlon, Mr. John Scanlon, the president. Mr. Scanlon. Andrew Baker, project executive. Greg Ingman, project manager. Chris Grant, the general superintendent and safety officer. And George Whalen, Joe DiPietro, and Mel Dishman, project supervisors. I've worked with a lot of contractors over the last 40 years, and I'll go on record as saying that this particular organization is among the very best that I've ever worked with. Thank you very much for your help. I've noticed two other individuals who represent Loomis Construction, Mr. Cormier and his son Chris. These two individuals were the individuals who climbed the tower, stuck their head out at the 300-foot level with the wind chill of about 32 below zero. Chris' feet were frozen. His dad had to buy him a new pair of boots. And Chris is a student at the college, by the way, so thank you very much for all of your help. Representing DCAM's Energy Group, I'd like to recognize Jenna Ide and John Crisley, both in our audience. Thank you for all of your help. And from DCAM's Construction Group, David Fang, project manager, Phil Godin, project engineer, and Ted Fiffey, the resident engineer. I've worked with David and Phil so many times, I think I can claim them as a dependent on my income tax. But they've been tremendous to work with. I'd also like to recognize the Mount Wachusett team. First, Rob Rizzo, Bob Labonte, Vice President of Finance and Administration, Jim Miller, Senior Network Engineer, and my right-hand man, Bill Swift, Director of Facilities Maintenance and Mechanical Systems. This is the best team in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and thank you. I'd also like to thank Art Collins, Joel Anderson, Dana Armstrong, and the students of our Broadcasting and Electronics Media program for their assistance in recording this project. I also would like to recognize Dr. Tom Montagno and the Student Sustainability Club, the Green Society, who have helped out with logistics, and Professor Leslie Cullen and the students of our Computer Graphics Design Club for the beautifully designed t-shirts that you might see some people wearing. The proceeds from the sales of these t-shirts will not buy a new turbine, but they'll pay for student expenses and benefit student scholarships. So we thank them for their efforts on that behalf. This ceremony represents my swan song, so I would like to take this opportunity to again thank President Esquino, the Board of Trustees, for having confidence in this crazy engineer and to support these wonderful projects. I would also like to thank the faculty, students, and staff who have made renewable energy the mantra of the college. It's been a wonderful 20 years, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.